Welcome to Birthing Purpose with Lana. I had to bring back a second time Lauren Brooks. We had to talk about her next book, Intimate Conversations. Oh, we talk about relationships and self-esteem and love and faith and dreams and just a lot. We're going to get into it. But let me just tell you who Lauren Brooks is. She is a fiction author who weaves together elements of folklore, romance, and authentic storytelling. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, she is a proud graduate of Central State University and HBCU in Southern Ohio, where she earned her degree in English literature. Laura writes with a mission to create stories where readers can see themselves, their challenges, and their triumphs reflected on each page. Her work explores the rich emotional landscapes of love, loss, resilience, and healing, blending the beauty of lived experiences with the power of imagination. With every story, she strives to uplift, inspire, and honor the enduring spirit of communities of color through layered characters and heartfelt prose. Ooh, intimate conversations.
Yes.
What was your inspiration for this book?
Ah, okay. So I'm a reader first. So I love to read. So with the last book I was talking about, I love fantasy. Fantasy and romance, those are my two favorite genres. So reading fantasy, or I'm sorry, reading romance, I was like, there's this there's this narrative of like women having to be worthy. Like, are you a good enough woman? Are you gonna ride or die? Like, are you gonna do? And it's just like, I don't like the narrative of, or not even the narrative, the real life of like a lot of women that I know that are in really healthy relationships had to deal with a lot of like mess to get to the point where they were like, now we're good, you know? And
Okay.
I was like, I wanted to write a book where a woman is being loved right out the jump. She doesn't have to fight
Mm.
to prove herself. She doesn't
Okay.
have to fight to prove her worthiness, even if she didn't feel it herself. That a person could, and and let me not just say women, men too, because
Okay.
I think that men have to
Oh,
prove their worthiness as well. And
okay.
so on both
Hmm.
ends, men and women, I wanted to create two characters that didn't feel like they had to fight to prove that they were worth being loved. That
Mm.
they just were loved correctly because the person made the choice to do so, not
Mm.
because they won their respect or won their love. It was given freely and it was given, right from the start.
Are these marriages you're talking about? Or are you talking about just dating?
Both, both. I've seen both, and I don't mean to say that every healthy relationship I've seen that they've
Uh,
gone through
uh-huh.
like
Huh.
disrespect, because that's not true. I
Uh-huh.
have seen healthy relationships where they've come together and it's always been them against the world.
Yeah.
But I think that Black women are always under scrutiny, right?
Okay.
Especially when it comes to like dating and relationships and men and all the stuff in
Mm.
the media, socially.
Okay.
They're like, they want a certain type of woman. And if you don't fit that mold, then you're not going to find a good man. You even have like podcasts and influencers telling women what they need to do to find a man. And I really wanted to
Yeah,
bring
yeah, yeah,
out
yeah,
that
yeah.
you don't have to do anything, because when a man or a woman wants you, they want you
Mm.
for you. You know what I mean? You don't have to like, I mean, of course you're going to go through these things to see if you're compatible,
Right.
but you don't have to change yourself in order to be worthy of being loved the right way. You don't have
Mhm,
to
mhm,
fit
mhm.
into this societal mold.
Yeah, so I was just, as you're talking, I'm just trying to think about all the relationships I know. And it's funny you worded it worthy of love. What I've seen is people struggling to just get along because of habits. Like,
Yes.
I like this, you like that. We like
Hmm.
you like, you
Hmm.
like a lot of people. I don't like a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the fact that you said worthy to love me, that
Mm-hmm.
immediately sounds like abuse to me.
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you should, if
Yeah.
you're with me, you should already be loving me. Like I don't,
Yeah.
but the fact
Yeah.
that you came into me and I gotta do things for you to love, like that already is so
Yeah.
toxic off the rip.
Off rip.
Off
Off
rip.
rip. But
Like,
how many times do you hear people say, if I'm not messing with no man who don't got this, who don't got this, who don't do this. And it's like before you can even get yourself in the door, you can't even, connect with the person on the level because they're trying to check off boxes. And it's like, okay, it's okay to have standards. It's
right,
okay to have wants for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
right.
But at the same time, if okay, let me use this as an example.
Yeah.
um, if you decide that you don't want to date a person who has kids,
Okay.
that is 100% fine because
Yes.
that is your decision based on your life and your lifestyle. And you have that right to do
Yes.
so. But just because a person has kids and they don't fit what you want for your life does not mean that they are
Less
not a good man or unworthy
or
of a
less
good woman.
valuable or
Yeah, or
anything
less
like that.
valuable, right? That
Yeah.
he cannot attain a good woman because he has kids from a previous
Or
relationship.
here's that.
That's what I
Because
mean.
there's somebody for everybody. So what you don't value,
Exactly.
somebody else values, and that's fine.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's totally fine to have
Hmm.
your wants and your needs and to say, this works for my lifestyle. That is you have that right and you should. You should exercise that right
Yeah.
because you deserve to be happy
Yeah.
and love the way that you want to be loved. But the thing that I just try to bring out is that just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't work, period.
Period. Right,
Yes.
because I feel like you're saying, like, so when they have these podcasts, it's just black and white. You can't do
Yes.
this, and
Very
this,
black and white.
or you need to do
Yes.
this, or you won't get that, and this. And that's
Yeah.
not necessarily true because there is
Yeah.
somebody for everybody. You just gotta find
Absolutely.
your tribe. Find.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
I saw a clip on the internet the other day from like I don't know if you've seen those clips of like that Pop the Balloon show
Oh
or
yes,
thing.
yes, 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 yes,
And
yes.
so there was this clip going viral about the guy talking about he wants a girl with long hair and he likes like that look.
Yeah.
And and it was like this whole internet debate on, if natural hair and if,
Hmm.
if it's a preference and you don't prefer natural hair and you want your woman to look a certain way.
Right.
And it's just this notion that if you don't look this way that somebody will pop a balloon on you because you wear your hair
They
natural.
will because, like you said, they don't. If they don't want that, they do
Yes.
kind of have a right. But
Yes.
once again, their preference has nothing to do with your value.
Absolutely has nothing to do with your value and you
Yeah.
should not feel like you should have to change yourself
Yeah.
in order to somebody to not pop the balloon on you.
See,
That person is just not meant for you.
the thing is, society has brainwashed people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what does happen is your pool's lessons just because society has brainwashed people to because everybody wants to impress everybody and be accepted. So
Hmm.
if society is saying this is a good thing, then I want that because I want
Yeah.
to be accepted in the society. Never mind, I
Yeah.
really don't even care about that, but because
Yeah.
I want to be, um,
Yeah.
fit into the
Yeah.
societal norms
Yeah.
of what's great, then I'm gonna go for this.
Absolutely.
So it's just
Absolutely.
this pressure, social pressure,
Pressure. That's a
and
good
things
word.
like
Yes.
that. It
Pressure.
is, and everybody's wants to fit
Yes.
in and be accepted and
Yes.
status and
Yes.
whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So, with your book, Intimate Conversations, talk to me about how you tie all this into your book.
So the two main characters are two people who feel like they made a lot of mistakes in their past life.
Mm.
So, the main female character, she was in a relationship, a long-term relationship with a man, and she was waiting for him to propose to her, waiting for their life to start. They had already had children. They had already did the thing. They're living this life that so many women live,
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm committed to you, I'm loyal to you, and he never marries her, right? Not only does he not marry her, he leaves her. And so now she's like, what do I do? I was, you know, writing thinking that this was going
Yeah.
to be my forever, that we were going to be married, that we were going to
Yeah.
build this life. And now not only are we've never been married. So now I have children who are people
Yeah.
look at her differently
Yeah.
because they were born out of wedlock, right? So it's the
Right.
thing, like, it's different if you have kids and then you break up than if you're divorced. You have
Yeah.
kids, you have divorce, right?
Yeah.
For a woman, you're looked at differently. So it's like, even if you come from a failed relationship, well, were you married in that relationship or not? So now she feels like, okay, now I got these kids. I've never been married. I was with this man for a long time. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, and so that's kind of
Yeah.
like where it starts with my main character. And so then for my main male character, his background is like, he was in a good relationship. He cheated on this woman, and then he had a baby outside of his relationship. So now it's like, that was a catalyst that caused, a whole thing. So
Mm.
he's trying to redeem. He's like, I know I made mistakes. I know I didn't do right. Like, I'm not that person. I'm trying to be a different person for my children because I don't want them to see, you know, they're going to grow up and they're going to learn, about the things that I've done because they have siblings,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, I
Kids be
want to,
talking. No.
yes. And so I want to show them
Right.
that even though, like, I did live a life this way, I did do these things, that I'm a good man. Like, I owned it. I accepted it. And
I'm
so,
changed.
yeah, and so it's just kind of like the
Redemption.
same with I one of the things I love to write about is just this notion of duality. Like, are people good or are people bad? Like, is there dark, or are people just traumatized? Are people just hurt? Like, it's these
Yeah.
blurred lines again of like, what is considered good and what is considered bad, and how does that change in different situations and different times and all those kinds of things across the board.
Mm. That's good. That's good. So, did you take a lot of your personal experiences and kind of put them into this book?
Um, yes and no.
Okay.
Like, yes, because a lot of what I've kind of experienced, I did put into this book. And then, but I also take from what I see around me, like
Yeah.
within my community, with
Yeah.
the people that I love, and just, those kinds of things like that. And
Yeah.
so it is a lot of it did come from things that I've experienced, but then a lot of it has also come from just having conversations with people and having people tell me, this happened to me and this happened to me and this is the reason why I'm like this and this is the reason why it's hard for me in relationships to do A because I grew up like B. And I'm like, that's really interesting. You know what I mean? And it's like, does that make you a bad person because you grew up in trauma, because you grew up in this and that, and so you grow up and you don't know how to manage those feelings? Are you really a bad person? Are you really, or are you just hurt? Are you damaged? Or do you need
Mhm.
therapy? Like,
Right. I was just gonna
yeah,
ask, how important is therapy to you?
yeah, I think therapy is, get it, get it, because
Everybody, as a matter of fact, everybody
yes,
gets
and
some type of counseling therapy, somebody you can
I'm
talk
telling
to.
you,
If it's not like
because
a formal therapy, you need someone to talk through life.
you do, because sometimes you don't even sometimes that things are triggers for you, but sometimes you don't even know that you're walking around with this heavy load on your back because you become so accustomed to it. It's just, what do people say? That's just how I am. I'm
Mhm,
just that way. That's just my nature. Is it your
mhm.
nature, or is that a defense mechanism that you picked up and you carried through life with you?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you said I heard this pastor say that there are people who are introverted. They think they're introverted, but once they get healed, they become extroverts.
Yeah.
Sometimes those introverted personalities is really trauma.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely. For
really
sure.
trauma.
For sure. Trauma responses. It's the
Yeah.
same with people who are like, hyper independent. I do everything. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. And it's like, okay, that's great. But is that a trauma response? Like,
Look, in your research, what did you find? Help me out. Let's start therapy. Let's put my feet up on the couch. No, what time? What
yes.
is it? Independence?
Yes.
Is that?
Hyper independency is a trauma response. Yes. It comes from feeling like your feelings are not valid. It comes from feeling like you asked for help and you were overlooked or neglected. And so you picked up this idea of, I will not ask for help. I will find a way. And I am strong enough. I don't need you. I can do it on my own. Because people, you need help. People have to, you cannot do everything all
Okay,
by
so maybe
yourself.
I'm not hyper independent because
Yeah. And so, I mean,
maybe
it's,
I'm not. No, because every time I ask for help, I got it. I think for me is people don't be doing it right.
hmm hmm I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
And you're
Um,
slow.
yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
And I need it done now
I need
because
it done
I
now, and I
struggle
need
with
it done the way that
impatience.
I need it done. Yeah, for
And I
sure.
need it done and done with excellence. And when is your
Mhm.
time frame? Forget it. I'll
Mhm.
just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's probably maybe it's just impatience.
Yeah. It could be. I'm not a therapist, but it could be patience. It could be control. Just liking to have the feeling like you're in control of your life. In control of the things that you know what I mean, like those
Okay.
kinds of things. So maybe you like
Okay.
your house to
Okay.
look a certain way because you
Oh
grew
yeah.
up in a house that didn't look a certain way.
Oh, it looked. Oh, okay.
you know so what I've learned is that who we are as an adult um is just us trying to make amends or trying to reshape things that we felt like were not right as children.
Mm,
So
that's good. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Or and then some people because then other people duplicate it.
Yeah, that is true.
They're
And
like,
sometimes they don't even realize it. They say
mm,
that they don't want this and then they repeat those behaviors.
mm,
I've found that people who grew up um and I don't want to say like, I think everybody experiences, some sort of like shocking thing as you
okay.
grow up. It's just a part of life, because, and it's different for everybody.
Okay.
But I think that when you grew up around negativity, whatever that may look like,
Okay.
whether it looks like, um, argument or addiction, or if
Mm-hmm.
people who grew up in these kind of like traumatic type of environments, they
Mm-hmm.
either go all the way to the left, like I
Mm-hmm.
want to be as far away from this
Mm-hmm.
as possible,
Mm-hmm.
or they just recreate it. And
Mm.
yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to a family member, probably yesterday, I think, and
hmm
there were other family members that said that this person was abused as a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not not physically and verbally.
Okay.
So all our lives, I always kind of looked at that person like, oh, poor thing,
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
why they're the way they are, just
Mm-hmm.
because, they had their our grandmother did them a certain way,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's so crazy. In talking to them yesterday, they don't feel that way.
Mm.
So shocked. Like,
Mm.
I was never abused. I was never this.
Wow.
I was like, wait a minute, really? I
Wow.
was like, I was told that you were big, you were that. They were like, all the kids, that happened to all the kids in that
Oh, that's
neighborhood.
deep. Oh,
Isn't
that's
that deep?
deep.
They
That is
were like,
deep.
actually,
Mm,
things
mm,
were worse for other
mm,
people
mm,
that I was like, wait, what?
mm. That
And
is so deep.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, I had a friend that was held upside down by his legs,
Wow.
and the father would spank him while he was
Wow.
held upside down by his feet, and
Wow.
he was like, I never got that. I just was like hit in the head a couple times. And I was just like, so like
Mm,
you said, negative,
mm-hmm.
like what people
Yeah.
think is negative because we're all like, poor thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
I had it made. I didn't get that.
My goodness.
So it didn't even, he doesn't think he was abused.
Wow.
I was like, so right now, if I was
Wow.
to do that to my son, you would think something of that. And then he had to get quiet and like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like,
Wow.
yeah, but for some reason, all this, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I hope I'm not traumatizing him right now.
Yeah.
In the back, like, wait, I was abused. I didn't even know I was abused. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But it's just funny how people what they think abusive or
Yeah.
how things
Wow.
affect people differently. If you're in an environment and so much worse is happening to everyone around you, you don't even
Yeah.
think that what you're going through is bad.
Yeah.
And even though other people are like, run for your life,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's amazing the effect
Wow.
of community and environment and how it
That's really
acts on
deep.
us where you don't even know that there is better because you
Yeah.
think, yeah, so
Yeah. Wow.
wow.
That is so true. And I'm just, as you're saying this, I'm just in my head thinking of like how I've seen that. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
seeing different situations where what is just to other people is, oh my goodness, like,
Right. Like no
yeah,
big deal.
wow,
Oh, no
yeah,
problem. And you're
yeah,
like, oh,
wow,
whoa. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Hmm.
wow. So, what else do you want to share with our viewers about intimate conversations?
um you know what, Intimate Conversations is a different kind of book. It's a different kind of romance.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it is kind of like, there's two people, like I said, and they both come into this relationship with children from previous relationships. They both come into the relationship with emotional baggage. They both come with a history and a past and all the things that people tell you to steer clear of. And they say to each other, I see you,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, listen, they give to each other what they wish they could give to themselves, because they're both doubting themselves. They're both like, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I don't know if I'm worthy of this. Like, I done did a lot of stuff and I don't even know if that's even on the table for me.
Mm.
And where they couldn't see it for themselves, they had it in them to give to someone else.
Which is
And
deep.
so, yeah, it
Because that's
is.
not
And
the norm. Usually, if they don't, they can't give what they don't, usually what they don't know or what,
but
but
I think, obviously, I see it more. I'm a woman, so a lot of, like, I see it a lot with women, where women will give and give and
because they
give
want it.
because they want, you know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
like they didn't have it for themselves, and it's like, and so they even with mothers, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
when you're a mother, you give and give and give to your children
Yeah.
because you see your children as worthy. You see your children as worthy of love and protection and nurturing, but sometimes you don't even see your own self of worthy of love and protection, of nurturing. And so you give it to your children because you want your children to have what you didn't
Didn't
have.
have.
And sometimes you think that because you never had it, that you don't deserve it, that you've done too much, that you don't fit the mold, that society says this about you, that if I was standing up here, then that man would pop a balloon on me. So like, but and so it's just this whole idea of there is somebody for everybody, and it doesn't have to fit into a perfect box with a pretty little bow.
Hmm.
Sometimes your person comes from trauma.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Which I
but
think everybody has experienced.
yes, and I what I will say is the main thing that I part of the reason I entitled it Intimate Conversations is because there's a conversation that needs to be had with yourself
Mm.
as well as with your partner.
Mm.
There's an amount of acceptance that you need to say what you played a role in, right? Because sometimes we're victims, but sometimes we play a part in why things went left. So there's a part of accountability of saying, I did this, and taking ownership of the mistakes that you've made, and taking ownership of the things that you feel like you should have did differently. Because the reality is that sometimes you are the villain in somebody else's story. And
Right.
you might not have meant it to be that way.
Yeah.
Maybe you were
Yeah.
just trying to protect yourself.
Yes.
Maybe you were just doing what you knew. But sometimes the reality of the matter is the way that you react to things can make you an adversary to somebody else. And so there's
Absolutely.
just this part of accountability that says, I realize what my actions did to you,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so and that's why I said, again, that's why I titled it Intimate Conversations, because it's not just about having intimate conversations with your partner. It's about having intimate conversations with yourself, being real with yourself, saying what you take accountability for, what it is you really want, and not being afraid.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're afraid to reach high
Yeah,
because we don't want to miss,
right.
but reach high, go for what you want. Make the list,
Yeah,
do what feels good for you.
yeah.
And yeah,
So as you're talking and you're talking about these intimate conversations, I think for me the the most valuable conversation is one with God.
yeah,
My
I
intimacy
agree.
with God, it like trumps talk. Because sometimes you could talk to yourself and say the wrong things
Hmm.
and badger yourself
Yeah,
and all kinds of stuff. But that
yeah,
voice from God to reassure you who you are
yes,
and it's gonna be okay.
yes,
Just how to fix things because
yes,
when you're having that intimate relationship with God, He's always gonna give you solutions.
absolutely.
Those other voices sometimes you have with yourself is always just going over what's wrong, what's not right,
Yeah,
and I feel
yeah,
like that voice sometimes is just from the enemy because
I
God's
agree.
voice is always going to have a solution. Okay, I don't like this daughter or
Yeah,
son, but here's the solution. It's
I
always going to
agree.
follow with a solution.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
so I definitely would tell people for sure, like you need to have that intimate conversation with God above all
Yeah,
so
I
that
agree.
you can hear correctly because sometimes
Yes.
our voice or others can be a little misleading. And
Yeah.
then another thing I was thinking about when you were talking was this word love.
Hmm.
I just think that it's just a hard thing to do for
Hmm.
everyone walking this earth. It's hard to love. It's just first of all, for everybody's idea of what love is different.
Yeah.
When you think about the biblical love, OMG, that
Hmm.
is not a joke. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it's just hard to love. It is. I mean, you really have to sacrifice.
It is sacrifice. It is
You
definitely
gotta stay
sacrifice.
connected to God because that's where
Yes.
your strength is gonna come to be able to love unconditionally
Yes.
and to forgive
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to be empathetic
Yep. Hmm.
and not be
Hmm.
self-centered. I mean,
Hmm.
it can be
It's
exhausting.
a lot. It's a lot. It is. I agree with you.
So
And just
it's not easy.
no, it's
So
not.
we need grace and mercy for each other
Grace
because
and
nobody
mercy.
is perfect at.
Nobody is perfect. And not only that, just going back to what you were said about like having these intimate conversations with God, a lot of times God is going to have you step out of your comfort zone. And so you have to be ready to step out on faith and know that like you don't have control of the outcome. You do what you feel like you're being called to do and you let God sort it out. Because even if it doesn't turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out, there may be a lesson in there that God wanted you to have. There may be somebody that needed the help that, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
you have to just kind of be trusting of the path and trusting of, you know, what you're being called to do. And like
yeah,
you said, it's hard. It is hard.
it's hard. Wow. So where can they get a copy of this amazing book,
So
Intimate
this
Conversations?
this one is also on Amazon and Kindle. So
Okay.
you can go on Amazon, you can go on order it on Amazon, or if you have a Kindle subscription, you can go on Kindle and you can read it on there. So that's where it is right now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, you guys, get the book because I think this book is for the singles, the married, the blended families, the
Yeah.
trauma, the people traumatized, males, females. It's for everybody. It's for you. So if you love romance and come on and get this book.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Lauren. This
you.
has been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
talking to you again.
I love this. Thank you so
And
much.
don't forget my voice for audio.
I got you. I got it. Listen, because I'm sending you a message like, you ready?
Yeah. All right. God bless you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.